Hello. I wanted to talk today about how you can stay sane and productive while working at home. I wrote about this and I thought it would be useful perhaps to do a video version. So I've been working at home for quite some time now. I've actually been working at home since 2005 when I left Microsoft and became a full-time writer slash teacher. So for me, working at home, things have not changed that much, but I've got a whole bunch of friends who work here in Seattle for Amazon, for Microsoft, or other tech companies. And then there's also a lot of people across the country that are working from home for the first time. And I'm hearing a lot of them express frustration with this mode. So I wanted to run through some tips, some things that I've learned over the years in the hopes that it's helpful. So one, routine is your friend. I rely on a routine that gets me up, gets me caffeinated, gets me fed, dressed, stretched, and at the keyboard at a predictable time. You may say to yourself, or say to me, why not revel in this brief chance to sleep in and enjoy life? And if you want to do that, sure, that's valid. I myself have a cat who appears sometime between 5:45 and 6 each morning asking why I haven't been fed. And because I have found it easier to be productive if you maintain a routine that involves times when you're expected to be productive. So yeah, sleep in, sure, but do have a routine time that you get to the keyboard. Maybe it is the afternoon. Maybe it's at 2 in the morning, however you want to do it. Create a workspace. Your couch is not going to be the best place to do it, but on the other hand, you do what you have to do. If you can, find a corner. If you possibly can, find a room where you can shut the door, but establish a space where you can have your office and say, when I'm here, well, interruptions are not welcome. And do the same with your time, if you can. Again, one of the hardest things I found when I first started working from home was getting through to family and friends that working from home did not mean I was always ready to go out for coffee with them. And nowadays, here in Seattle, where the coffee shops are now closed, I'm getting people text me. They don't know my routine, so they text me a lot. And that's fine. I enjoy texting back and forth. But there's a point of the day when I take the phone and I put it aside in order to focus on work. 3, you are your own janitor. I think it's good to keep the area around you reasonably clean and it's uncluttered. And if you do that, you will be happier. And certainly you will be healthier depending on the circumstances. And one thing I suggest as part of my end of the day routine, I tidy up my work desk. I take the dishes upstairs, I kick out the trash, I declutter the desk. Nowadays I wipe it down and similar tasks. And what that means is the next morning when I come in, I am starting the day in a much more pleasant way. And I think of this as a little gift to future Catherine. And I remember to be grateful to past Catherine when I come in and see my clean desk, nice and ready to go. 4, exercise is good. You may not be able to get to the gym. And in fact, since I first wrote these notes down, my gym has been closed. But you will be happier and healthier if you're doing something. For me, that's walking, because I'm lucky enough to live in a great area for it. I've also got a standing desk that I got from IKEA years back. And so your mileage will vary, literally, but at least stretch when you can and be mindful of your back. I know that if I sit on the couch for extended period, if, for example, I'm binge watching Grimm, as I am recently to prepare for a move to Portland, if I sit there for more than an episode or two, my back will tell me about it. All right, I think I'm on 5. Let's go with that assertion. 5, social media is not your friend. If you're missing your office or interactions, and if you're particularly introverted, you are going to miss the hell out of them. And you're going to be pulled to social media even more strongly because it's a chance to interact with other people. It's a chance to get little nuggets of attention. But there is no sure way to lose your focus. There is no surer thing I know for unraveling a morning than finding an interesting thread on Twitter and following its pull into the maze. So schedule social media breaks for 10 to 15 minutes if you like. Use them as a reward to keep yourself going. If I write for 30 minutes, then I get to spend 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever works for you on the Twitters. But don't keep it open during the day. 6, do socialize. Your workplace may have a Slack or Discord or whatever channel where there is some actual work-related discussion taking place, and I think that's totally worth following. One of the things I've started doing is scheduling daily co-writing sessions with people. We do 30-minute work sprints, then we check in between, and I'm doing that with a bunch of friends and some students and mentees, and as part of my Patreon. Check in with your friends and text a few pet pictures back and forth. Call somebody on the phone if you like calling on your phone. I bet your mother, if she is around, will love to hear from you. Number 7, things are different here. And this is not the same work environment. It's not what you're used to, and that's okay. It's going to feel weird at first. You may feel guilty at first because you're losing time as you establish your process. It's okay. It really is. You will get into the groove. Go back to that idea of the routine. The routine really will help you get into the groove. 9, and finally, go with the flow and enjoy it. There are advantages to working from home, and that's going to vary according to what your home and office space is. But if you live next to a park, go explore it on your break. Listen to the music that you want to listen to and set the thermostat at the point that you want to listen to it. Eat stinky food. Let the cat sit on your lap and assist you at the keyboard. Revel in the fact that you don't have to find a parking spot. I'm really curious about what's going to happen as a result of this. There's a book published in 1980 called The Third Wave by sociologist Alvin Toffler, and he predicted a third wave of change in labor enabled by the internet. Wave that would include many more people working from home, but it never manifested. And I think the reason for that was cultural. I think employers simply refused to believe that workers would be productive under such circumstances. So, will that change in the coming year as larger employees see the effectiveness of this practice, or maybe even have to, whether they want to or not? I certainly think it's going to become more acceptable to work from home. And, certainly we should keep in mind there's a lot of people who work jobs where it's not an option. But nowadays we have the internet, and we've got robotics, we've got drone technology, and working remotely is becoming available to a greater and greater pool of people. And so if you are one of those diving in for the first time, good luck and Godspeed. Stay healthy.